Yay, and I believe we are live. Welcome everyone to King Talks, the platform where we share marketing ideas worth spreading. Whether you are joining us on LinkedIn, Facebook, or on YouTube, please feel free to leave us a big thumbs up and feel free to join in the conversation, leave a comment or a question because we would love to engage with you further. My guest today is Dana Ohana. Dana is the co-founder and CEO of Big Consulting. She has an MBA majoring in business management, marketing, and related support services, and has several certifications from LinkedIn Learning, including SEO Foundations and Business Foundations. Dana is an experienced trade marketing manager with a demonstrated history of working in the paper and forest products industry. She is skilled in marketing management, market research, product marketing, marketing in general, and fast-moving consumer goods. Her company, Big Consulting, focuses largely on brand building, and that is exactly what we're going to talk about today. Dana, please take over.
I'm actually going to invite you now to all of my lives with this introduction. I was like, really? I was like, wow.
That's all you got.
That if I'm getting frozen here and there, apparently my Wi-Fi was working in a different light, but now he's maybe going to do some issues, so my apology. So wow, we're talking about brand building. So first, like, guys, if you have a question, please put it in the comments. There's the place for you to ask question and get the answers. I would love to help you. And I just want to say that, like, when I look at brand building, I look at it from the side of how you use it to build relationships. Because when you build relationships, you're basically building trust. And when you're building trust, you are helping those people to become first loyal to your brand. And second of all, they're going to be your best brand ambassadors. And that's something that's going to help you to build your brand for the long run. And I always give an example. If you look at the different celebrities, right? It's easy to look at their branding. Because when you look at their brand, is that they've been working so hard on building it up, but there's one small incident that they've done or something wasn't right that can destroy their brand. Or even after they die, at a certain point, their brand is still out there and there's a reason. So when you work on building your brand, you need to remember that this is not like a once-off project. It's an ongoing thing. You always and constantly working on building your brand. So everything you say, you do, the way you dress, the way you speak, everything is part of it. The different social media platform you use is part of it. Your online presence is part of it. So everything, the way you engage with your clients, it's all part of it. So you really need to think about what's the type of brand that I'm looking on building. And as well, connect to yourself. Because it is super important to be self-aware and to know ourselves. And one of the exercises I want to give you is that to do a SWOT analysis for yourself. And for those of you who don't know what a SWOT analysis is, learning about what's your strengths, what's your weaknesses, and what's your opportunities and what's your threats, and maybe look at it more of as a challenges instead of a weaknesses. So really write it down to yourself. Okay, learn more and more about yourself, because that's going to help you in building your brand. Because when you know you're not strong in certain things, you're not going to highlight them. When you know you're strong in certain things, those are the things you want to use to distinguish yourself between yourself to others. Because I also don't believe in the word competition in the small, medium businesses, because there's not really such a thing. We can both do the same thing, but we're not exactly a competition. I have a different personality. I have a different point of view, different expertise, different experiences, different point of views. All this will impact your brain. So when you want to build your brain, think about from that side. Don't focus on others. Focus on yourself. Learn more and more about yourself. Do you want me to continue speaking, or do you want to ask questions?
Go on. We've got a lot of time.
Okay, cool. I always can speak about branding and all of this. And I think today with social media, and that's why when I'm looking on how you build your brand, I'm looking at it from the side that how you use social media to your benefit to build your brand. Because that's the nice thing. If up until now building your brand was a hard work and you need to walk from a place to another and pick up the phone all the time and get to people to know you and find a place to do like a big speech and different lectures and stuff like that to get that exposure. Today it's easy. All you need to do is have not even a computer, to have a mobile phone, to have a small data package, and you can have that online presence and reach out to more and more people. And what we need to remember with this is that, if you want to build your brand the right way and use social media to your benefit, you need to remember the most important thing is that people buy from people. And people buy from people they trust. If they trust you, if they feel a connection to you, they're going to come. If not, there is nothing in the floor that you can say that's going to convince them. And that's something very important for you to remember. Because, like I look at even about some of my clients. I have one client, for example, that she reached out 6 months ago, and she was looking on the service, but she wasn't sure. But she wasn't sure because she wasn't sure what she really wants. But during that 6 months, she was still watching me online, listening to me, understanding what I know, feeling a certain type of connection. And after 6 months, when she was ready, she immediately came. She just said, like, okay, this is the shift I've done with my business, this, and booked a full session of few meetings. And that's the difference. That if you work right on building your name, and building your name, which means building your brand, and you build yourself as an expert in your industry, okay, you become their go-to person, become a type of guru, they're going to come to you when it's the right time for them. And that's super important, because if they come when they're ready, they're going to help you build your brand. But if they come and they're not ready, it's not going to work, because they're going to come with a certain level of expectations when you will deliver only one thing, but they were like expecting here and you were delivering this for them. That gap can destroy your brand. And that's why I'm going to link it to the other side, that it's also super important to make sure that you are reaching out to the relevant people, to the right target market. And what I see is that a lot of businesses don't really connect to the right, they don't find the right niche. They're actually not even niching themselves. They're trying to be everything to everyone, because what do you mean? Everyone needs coaching, right? Everyone needs to find a mentor. Everyone needs someone to help them with the social media or whatever. But they're not all come from the same reasons. They don't have the same struggles. They don't have the same pain points. And when you're niching out, you're reaching out to the right group, and then you're getting even more results out of it. So I always say it's like the spaghetti on the wall. When you throw spaghetti on the wall, whatever sticks, sticks, whatever falls, falls. That's what a lot of businesses are doing. And then they're on a survival mode because they're trying just to get the business opportunities. But if you're really working on niching yourself out, so let's say you're trying to reach out instead of 1 million people and then get maybe 2 or 3 leads, you're reaching out to, let's say, 1,000 people, but you're going to get like 500 leads because you're more accurate. They understand you, they know you. I do have a free questionnaire that I can put the link, or you guys can put your email address and I'll send it to you. Just a questionnaire that can guide you on how to find your niche, how to work on that definition, because it is super important. Because when you know who you're targeting, you know exactly where to find them, when to engage with them, and how to engage with them. And that's going to help you to grow your brand. But if you're going to be all over the place, that's not going to work for you, because you're not going to get the results. And then you're going to be frustrated. And at one point, your frustration can actually do wrong to your brand, because it will come out. People understand your vibe. They understand your energy. They watch you. They look at you. They're trying to see if you're authentic. They're trying to know if you're consistent, if you know what you're talking about. So if you're going to watch different videos of mine, you'll see that I'm repeating certain things all the time, because this is the foundation. This is the foundation that will help you to build your brand. For example, I look at myself, I used to work for corporate for most of my life. So I know what it is to build a brand for a big company. But there's one thing when you have a big brand behind you, right, that already start building his name for so many years that you're just maintaining and helping to uplift it more and more, versus when I decided to start my own business in a different country and not in my home language. I had no connections, nothing. I started from scratch, like seriously, from like, and I was like, am I losing my mind? Like, what the hell am I doing? Like, what's going to happen? And that's why when I look at the way I'm teaching how you build your brand, and this is part of the tips I'm giving you now, I was working on building a strong foundation, on defining my target market, defining my message, finding the relevant like social media, which in my case, it's all social media platforms that I'm active on because it is part of my business, because I am teaching how to use social media. As well, that I was working on building the right supporting group, on finding the relevant people that I want to collaborate, that I want to work with, on building this community. So when you build your brand as well, work on building your community. Okay, you as a person want to be part of a community. You want to belong to some place, right? We all want to have a place that we feel safe. We feel safe to ask questions, even if it sounds stupid. And I recommend you now to put questions in the comments. Let me know, first of all, who's with us, who's watching, what's your business is about. Are you happy from where you're taking your brand, or would you like to shift the direction? You're thinking maybe things are not working for you as you wish. So really put it in the comments. I would love to answer your questions. But on that note as well, you guys need to remember, you want to build, you as well, as much as you want to be part of a community, this is how much they want it as well, your potential clients. So if you can build something that can get them to feel that this is their safe place, okay, this is where they come and reach out and ask questions and no one will judge them. And this is where they know they're going to come and ask questions and going to get answers. Or even if they don't have the courage to ask questions, right? But they're going to see what others are asking and they're going to get the answers. They're going to be feeling comfortable to send you a private message and ask the questions. But the thing is with this, and that's the nice thing about when I look at like building a brand with an organic marketing strategy, that's the nice thing. You building opportunities that are going to come and keep on surprising you. And for those of you who are not really sure what is organic marketing is all about building connections, building relationships. So it's what they call free marketing, right? Because it's free because you don't pay for advertisement, but it's actually not that free because it's time consuming. And your time worth money. Like, before we started this, I started my day also by recording like YouTube videos. So by doing this, it means that I don't do other stuff, which I can earn money on, right? By using this and sharing my knowledge, it's time consuming, it's money as well. So don't always forget this. So yes, organic marketing considered to be free, but it's not fully free. But the way I look at it is way better than doing paid marketing because they both have the same amount of effort and like this, but the other one you actually paid the actual money, and not for every company there is the budget for this. So I would recommend that when you want to build your brand, look at how you're building it around who you are, what you have, what you can share, and share as much as you can. Don't be afraid to share. Because you need to remember that whatever I'm sharing with you now, you can actually Google it, you can YouTube it, you can search for wherever you want. But I bring it from my point of view, from my perspective. That's why when I look, for example, at myself on how I teach social media, I don't teach it from like chasing after the likes and the followers. I teach it from how to use it as part of your organic marketing strategy. And that's the difference. So how you build your brand. And the other thing I want you to do like as an exercise, so if I gave you the SWOT analysis, for example, I want you to ask yourself why you do what you do. And what I came across recently is that more and more people don't really get why they do what they do. And when I ask this question, and I'm going to ask you tomorrow now to share so we can do it as a case study. So it's not only also me talk all the time. But you know what? Let's do it. Why you do what you do. Let's see. And I'll give that as an example.
Oh, okay. It's a little complicated though for Alakin Creatives because it is part of my bigger plans in life. So for me, I view Alakin Creatives as just the first step to getting my end goals, which is, I call it like the 3-step guide to being the best version of myself. So Alakin Creatives is my way to build a business and earn an income for myself and having control over that 100%. So that is the main reason why I am doing it.
So I'm going to surprise you. That's not a why. Okay, you just
Cool.
gave me an excuse to why you do what you do. That's not a why. And a lot of people, what they do, and you're going to see how we're going to find out what's your why as well. And that's one thing that I'm doing in my sessions with my clients, that we're really trying to understand, like, not why you want to do it from the side of like you giving me a sales speech or like what's the benefit from you, but from where is it coming from? Okay, so ask yourself, why is this specific business? Where is it coming from?
Why Alakin Creators? Why did I choose a marketing agency? Because in order to grow any business, you need to understand marketing first. So I could have chosen any other industry, but I tried
marketing. Why marketing?
I found through research that marketing is the best way to grow a business because that is how you attract the right audience. And like I said, like I've tried other businesses before, and because I did not know marketing at all, like those businesses did not get to the point where I needed them to be. And with Alakin Creatives, it is literally the first business that has gotten me the results that I wanted because I understand what marketing is all about.
And why to help small businesses?
Pardon?
Why to help small businesses? Where is it coming from?
It's not just small businesses. It is about helping. So when I go back to my original goals, it is about empowering women to lead the type of lives that they want.
Why? You're still not answering the why, and I'll ask you more question, and I'll give you an example on my why. Okay.
Uh-huh.
My why is divided to two. My first why was I always worked for corporates. I always wanted to have my own business. I never had the courage. I got a wake-up call when my mom got sick and when she passed away. So that was a wake-up call to understand, you know what? Don't let your fears control you. Make your dreams come true. And that's where I'm coming to help more and more female entrepreneurs to make their dreams come true. Because I don't want to be like when my mom was by the time she decided what she wants to do in life, it was too late. I don't want it to be too late for me. I don't want it to be too late for my clients. And that's where I'm coming from. And that's the one of the things that also pushes me outside of my comfort zone constantly and all the time. And then when I'll push my client, it's because I'm also pushing myself. So that is one of my first why, where I'm coming from. This is from where I'm coming. That's where it sits on me. The reason for me to help more and more is because I want to help more people to make their dreams come true the way I'm doing it, because my mom couldn't do it. The second part of it, it started when I learned to put myself out there. It took me weeks to convince myself after having my photos to put myself. I thought I looked like narcissist. The people said like, oh my God, she loves herself too much. Now she's posting. To make my first video, it took me time. By the way, I pushed myself. That's what I want to do. I want to help people because I know how hard it was for me to love myself, to appreciate myself, to accept myself, and to learn to put myself out there. So when people watch me now, I'm like, oh my God, she looks so confident. Like, I'm also adopted a dog, a rescue dog, as part of a Netflix TV series. Yes. So if you guys want to watch, it's called A Dog for Life. But even the director was saying, like, at one point, you look so natural with the camera. I was like, what do you mean? I've been practicing in the last year on my YouTube channel. I wasn't that comfortable. You can watch my first video. I was sitting like this on my couch. So that's the thing. So this is where I'm coming from myself, work with myself, and I want to pass it on and as well. So ask yourself, why it's so important for you to help other people to get their marketing? You were lacking of something in your when you were trying to build yourself. What was that? Where does it come from? What were you feeling that lack of that you want to share it with others?
It does go back to confidence as well. So back a couple of years ago, I was feeling broke. I was down. I was out. I was not feeling attractive. When I looked in the mirror, I was like, this is not me, and this is not the person I wanted to be. And I told myself, like, I can either continue complaining or I can do something about it. And so I sat down and I wrote a 3-step guide for myself. And I was like, this is something that I want to share with the rest of the world. And so Ala King Creators, like I said, is just the first part of that 3 steps. So that is why I wake up every day and push myself.
But that's a different why. You are doing this because you're healing yourself. And the same as you healing yourself.
I want to heal others as well, because I believe that 3-step guide can heal others as well.
So you see the difference from where you gave me the first why to this one? And there's 2 different whys that people can connect with. So if you sharing the stories about like me feeling insecure, me having days that like, what do you mean? I can share myself. You know how many times I wanted to pack my suitcase and go back to Israel? Oh my God. When I bought just before COVID, the washing machine, I'm like, okay, that's me putting my roots down. Washing machine. Because I was like, I was struggling. I was like, why do I need this? Like, I'll just go back to Israel. I'll find a 9-to-5 job, work as a big like role in marketing. I'll be sorted for my life. But I didn't, and I'm pushing myself. And that's the thing. The way is I'm pushing myself, I'll push you. And the same as you have your insecurities that you're overcoming, and you're going to share the different stories around that, that's going to help people to connect. Because it is, when you look us at the camera, we look like, oh, so glam and like so confident and blah, blah, blah. No, it's sometimes bullshit. Sorry for my language, but it is. Because, a lot of time it's just the appearance. You have no clue sometimes how hard we work on getting it done. How hard we work to convince ourselves that we can do it. How hard we work that, like, when I started my business, I used to say to myself, like, who the hell am I that I'm going to consult other businesses? Like, who will want to listen to me? But then I used to remember myself, sorry, you used to do it for so many big companies. And they brought you from one country to another. So you actually can do it. So why not? And that's why we all need to connect to ourselves. That's why I said the personal development side, it's crucial when you're building your brand. And again, when you're building your brand, it doesn't matter if you are an entrepreneur, because building a brand, it's like, a brand is a story. Okay. So what's the story you got to share? And that story you share in your relationships, in your friendships, in your partnerships. If you work for different corporates or whatever, there is a story behind you. When you go to that interview or you go on a date, what's the story you're sharing? Where you want to take it? Where do you want people to perceive you? What's the perception that you want them to take away from it? So that's why, for example, one of the things I'm doing as well is different podcasting. I mean, more and more female entrepreneurs that, share about their struggles. Because, having a business, it's not that easy. It's like riding a hell of a ride on a roller coaster, and you up and you down and you flipped and like, ooh, and it's a mission. And let me know in the comments, how many of you are feeling like this? Let us know. Like, I would love to hear from you. What do you think? And I see you were like putting your finger out, because it's part of it. So what are you doing? What's happening? Share it. All of this will help you build your brand. If you're going to share your brand, it's all like stars and glitters and fun and joy. No one buying it, okay? And if you're selling it, it means that you're trying to sell something that they will want it so badly to be like you, but they're never going to get there. And they're going to be frustrated. And then you create a gap. And that gap can destroy your brand. Because bottom line, people can believe it for a month, for 2, for a year. After a certain period of time, they understand that you were bullshitting them. And I can say, there is a lady that like I follow that she's actually Israeli. And I look at certain stuff she's done and like, and I look at other people, and eventually the funny part is that she doesn't even get it. Like, she's on her own mission, but she actually built a name around a lot of people that come from the industry, that she's actually not a scam, but not something very professional. Let's say it like this. So you need to think about like what you want people to think about you. You know, you want that people that even work in the same industry as you, they know you do certain stuff that they don't, so they will actually give you the referrals because you build that connections, and that's the beauty. You know, I also get clients that come from marketing, that they were marketing managers, and some of them were even more years than me, but they come because I have my specialties, I have my expertise with the social media, and that's why. But I'm constantly building my brand, and I'm constantly showing them even that I understand where they're coming from. I understand their mindset. And that's part of it. So always bear in mind to where you want to take your brand, what you're trying to achieve out of it, and why you do it. Why? And share that story. Again, you share that story as per your limitation, as per what you want. I'm sharing about my mom, but I'm not sharing all the details and everything that happened. I share what I feel comfortable with. I share it from the side that yes, it was a wake up call for me. A wake up call that you know what, don't waste time and energy on making other people's dreams come true. Work on getting it for yourself, and you can do it. So I'll push myself each and every single day, and that's what I'm trying to do with my clients, to push them all the time. That's what I'm doing with my content all the time. Keep on motivating, giving that inspiration. Because yes, it's not easy, but it's doable. And it's our decision to where we want to take ourselves. So you decide what's the story you want to share about your brand. You decide who you want to reach out to. You want to reach out to the people that will find that connection to your story. So, for example, if I look at the Mara business, you want to have those people that, sorry, but a bit insecure and not sure and feeling lost, because they can resonate with you and you can resonate with them. And by having certain values, certain things that you are, have together that you share, you can actually build those relationships. You can actually build that trust. Because if you come and tell them, I know how you feel, because I know it took me 2 weeks to make my first video, and I recorded videos in between my lives today. Like, and I said to you, I have my shirts here because I try to make around 10 to 12 videos like in one day, because I do it in 2 different languages. So I need to change my shirts as well and move from one language to another. But my first one took me 2 weeks. 2 weeks, I was having a lipstick on, and I'm like, hey, let's do it. And I was like, nope, it's not going to happen today. But eventually, it comes natural at certain point. It just becomes easier. And one of the other tips I want to give you is learn to let go of things. Don't try to be perfectionist. I was like that. I was always aiming to have the perfect in everything. Even in my job, my bosses would say, like, Dana, let someone else take the blame. Stop. Like, don't do the jobs for everyone. It's like, yeah, but I want the project to be amazing. I want this lunch to be amazing. No, I learned that when you want to be an entrepreneur, you cannot do everything, and you cannot get everything perfect. And I used to remind myself that, when I was working, for example, on a catalog, no matter how many people will read it, when you print it, you're going to still find some spelling, grammar mistakes. Doesn't matter. So you learn to let it go. So don't be harsh on yourself when things are not going in the same direction as you wanted, but use it to your benefit. Share it. Don't be afraid to share it. That's the type of brand that I would recommend you to build. An honest one, an authentic one, a one that actually shares not only the beauty of it and the glamour side of it, or all of this, but it also let them understand who you are, what's happening, how's your journey, and let them have that connection. Take those guards a bit down. That's really going to help you to take your brand from one place to another. Because eventually, even if you look at the big companies, right, for a lot of them that kept and maintained that family story, right, with heritage, right, that's where people are feeling connection to, because they remember the story about the grandfather and this, and like even the parents will share with you. And that's the thing, so think about, again, like where you want to take your brand, from the side also to where you want to take your business. You want to take your business to the side of having like something to inherit, like a something that you can pass on to the next generation, or it's something that at one point you want to sell. So think about it from that side, because that's also going to help you to understand what's the name of the business going to be, where you want to take it, in which direction, and all of this. So that's why there's a lot of understanding you do need to do before you actually, start to promote your brand. But it's never too late. Always there is a chance to rebrand. The big companies are doing it all the time. They're doing small things in their logos, in their slogans and stuff like this. They take it in a different direction. And I think this is it. You really need to think about where you want to be and not to be afraid to do it. Because if you look at some of the brands, for example, like Nokia, by the time that she was willing to adjust the new changes in the technology, it was a bit too late. She had a strong brand she was leading the market in mobile phone. Now, the youngsters don't even remember it. Like, they don't even know what Nokia is. They know that it's maybe one of the small brands, but it's not like iPhone and Samsung and Huawei that build themselves. As well as Kodak, So you always need to think about where you want to take your brand. Are you going to stay in the old, or are you going to be adopting like the new innovations and stuff like this? So all of it is part of the decision you need to make around your brand, and it's never too late too late to make changes. So don't be afraid. Put it out there. Put yourself. And again, guys, if you do have questions, put it in the comments. If you're not feeling comfortable in the comments, you're more than welcome to send me a private message. I'm always keen to answer.
You have I did not see any questions coming through in the comments, but Oli Raja is just saying that what you're speaking of is so true. Thank you, Oli, for that. Dana, I do have one question for you though. You mentioned the fact that with organic marketing and organic brand building, it does take time. So even if you're not spending money, you are spending time. So how much time should one be spending on their branding in comparison to all of the other business activities, like lead generation and all of that stuff?
So everything you do is part of your branding. So you always need to invest the time in it and the effort and the thinking. Because it's not something that you do like an hour a day. So if I'm decided now to make a reels on Instagram, I choose what type of the brand I want to be there. If I'm deciding to post in a certain group on Facebook, it's a decision I make about what I want people to know about me. And, it's like when I see that a lot of people, for example, are struggling with reels, I always say, find your voice. Okay. Not everyone needs to have the same voice. Yes. If you would ask me 6 months ago, I would say I'll be very conservative with my reels. If you watch my reels now, I've lost it. That's it. I love to goof around. I think one of the videos, I even done there was the filter like this. I found it funny, so I used it. I did a tutorial on how to use reels, and I used the filters. And at one of the points, I put the filter that was one of a lemon. So my face was in a lemon. So I was making, so find your story, but it's not for everyone. And I see there is a question here. How do you for your story or your why is communicated in your content without making your content all about you? So take this. Did you feel, for example, that it was all about me? I shared my why just for a bit. So you can share your why as part. It can also come in your brand identity, for example. So for example, because I'm talking that one of my whys was my mom, the colors of my logo is the mix of my color and my mom's color, for example. It can also be, for example, that if you're the brand and you're working on building your confidence, you're finding a way, the different photos you're using. If you're writing a post, right? So you're writing a post and you're more about particular pain point, right? Are you feeling a struggle? Are you feeling this or whatever it is? And you can share this in a 1 sentence, 2 sentences, and not to make it all about you. And I think it's a great question, because it is, when you look at this, some maybe tend to speak mostly about themselves. But if you find a way to blend it in and to kind of walk with them step by step and have the story as part of it, but as part of like a lesson, as part of like learn from this to your business. That can really help you. So as I said, you can use it in your brand identity, in one small paragraph in your posting. Like I've done a reels that I was chatting about the struggle of people that they have with social media and how they're overwhelmed. And I spoke just like, right, because the reels, I don't know for how many of you have the 1 minute, but I do have the 1 minute, which I was actually realizing recently that it's only on my iPhone, but not on my Huawei. So I don't get why they make a decision like this and where is it coming from. But I've done in 1 minute video, I think maybe for 10 seconds, I speak about my why. And the rest, that's it. I just blended in the story of me sharing about your struggles and how he pushed me to do more and all of this. So really try to find a way to blend it. And if you're not sure, you're more than welcome to share with me like a post that you want to make, for example, or like a video. And I'll guide you to that with pleasure. So I really hope I answered your question. If you guys have questions, please put it in the comments. I would love to answer your question. It is your time. Because I am a female and I'm in marketing, so I can speak for hours. But I do want you to guys have some takeaways from this, and I would love to hear what your takeaways. Where are you gonna take your brand, and what's the journey that you're gonna do? Because you are the brand. Invest in yourself. If you invest in yourself, your clients can see it, and they want to come and work with the people that invest in themselves. You know. You want to work with someone or buy from someone, and I'll say it from a different, like if you buy products, right? So if I'll say, let's say like leggings or things like this, I'll come to that person and I'll see that he's well looked, that in the picture, in the posting, like, and I won't come to this one that like have like his like hair like whatever and like without pajamas. You want to come to people that you feel that they do something, because you can resonate with this, or you can inspire and say, this is where I want to be. And if that person done it, I can do it as well. Why not?
Yeah, Zimbini says thank you, and I hope Zimbini you are going to take Dana up on that offer. Dana, I've got another question for you if you don't mind. So, like, if you are a small business, I personally believe, like, as a small business, you've got to be the face of your company, be proud of it, share your story and all of that. But for that person that wants to be behind the scenes, how can they still build a brand, share their story and all of that without being the face of their company, if that is even possible?
It is possible, but it's hard work and it's not always going to give you the results. But as a start, and I think that's the nice thing, you can start by, in the beginning, if you don't feel comfortable, maybe just to post and, do stuff without putting yourself out there, but find the right networking groups that people will know you from there. And that's going to help you. The other option is to use an avatar. Okay, an avatar that will present you. And that can be nice. So you can use the avatars and make like animation out of it, like for videos if you don't feel comfortable with. You can use it as part of like even you making like different designs for Instagram and you use it for Facebook, whatever. That's a one way to use it. But eventually, at one point, you will need to expose yourself. But it's your choice when to do it and how to do it. And I guess this is why I always, like, as I said, like personal development is a huge key in this. Because, it's a one thing. It's like once someone told me, like, it's funny, like you were building everyone's brands. Now you, with all your insecurities, need to build your own brand. So it's kind of you pushing yourself to do something that you are not comfortable with. But it took me a while. So if you look at my Instagram, and I didn't delete my previous one, then my Instagram is actually demonstrating my journey. I moved from having like quotes without having me in it to actually having me in it. And then I even changed colors because I was on a journey that I was like all about the colorful. And then I moved to something else, and it's fine. And I don't care. That's me. That's my journey. That's me evolving. But it took me also time. So you need eventually to find yourself, because what pushed me, for example, was the fact that I'm a foreigner in this country. and people are all very afraid, like from scam and things like this. So I really needed to build that trust. I needed people to see me. And if you can get yourself out there, even if it means that just like one video, even if it means like in one of your posts, small things that you can do, that will help you to build those connections, because people will know who they're talking with. But if you don't feel comfortable, as I said, you do have the option of, like, if you're using videos and stuff like this, to use an avatar and develop it as a character for you, as well, that you can, work on building the relationship, but in a different way. Be more active in different groups, chat with different people, engage, go to networking events. That can also help you to put yourself out there and to get people to know you.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for that, Dana. I truly appreciate your time, and I'm sure that our audience out there appreciates it as well. If anyone wants to reach out to you personally, how can they do so?
I'm active on all social media platforms, so you can just find Big Consulting in all of them, which is actually funny because I found myself active on TikTok, Tumblr, Twitter, Quora, everything. I would love to invite you. I'm actually busy with my new website now, which I'm super excited because it looks amazing. So I'm super excited with this. But I would recommend you again, if you're watching, no matter on which platform, connect with me, ask questions. I'm always here to answer. I do have a Telegram group that I share here and there some tips. I do have it as well on WhatsApp. I do have a space in Quora when I share some of my tips. And I do have a YouTube channel of Big Consulting that I share lots of content, which I'm actually busy now preparing, I think, 5 videos in 2 different languages. So yeah, one of them will be up to date about Pinterest, because I'm also active on Pinterest. So why, for example, use Pinterest for your business? So just feel free, Big Consulting, Dana Ohana, and just reach out, connect, ask questions. If maybe it will come after and everything. And just remember, a brand is a story. What's the story you want to share? What you want people to know about you? What you want them to know about, what you've got to give them, and work on building this relationship. If you can build relationships, that's what's going to take you to the next level. And where can you get the how to build your niche tips? I do have a questionnaire for this. I'll put the link to where you can download the questionnaire. So it's a target market questionnaire. I'll put the link in the comments on LinkedIn, so you can download it from there. And once you complete that questionnaire, you can send it to me to my email address. There is the email address there. And I'll take a look and I'll guide you. And I do have videos about knowing your target market, but really work on defining them. Okay, so it's question around who they are, what's their struggles, their pain points. Because once you know this, you really know how to engage with them. And there's a difference if I come to you and I say if you're feeling overwhelmed with social media, you're struggling, to person said want to grow your social media. It's 2 different things. So if I can touch where you struggle, where you're challenging in, the verse does that grow, those are 2 different things. And that's why I'm a big believer on building yourself. So if you guys have more questions, again, do it. Feel free, always here to answer. You know that. And thank you for hosting me. And thank you for sharing your why and participating in this part. I really hope it's a bit more clear to you to share it now with others. And again, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dana. Now I was saying I do share my why, but it's an uncertain context only. I don't ever share it through Awaken Creators, and I think that is something I should be doing much more of.
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks, Dana, once again, and thank you everyone for watching. Thanks for the comments and the questions, and I will see you next week for another King Talks. Bye, Dana.